Hey everyone, welcome back. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Piece of the Pie, where we're going to be breaking down the market analysis with Bleeding Crypto. We're going to be looking at how Bitcoin is doing. We're also going to take some altcoin requests. Well, we had taken some altcoin requests, and we're going to look at those as well. And be sure to, if you guys have any other altcoin requests for coming up, be sure to drop them in the comments. We are only taking the altcoin request from the YouTube channel comment, so leave them there. Bleeding Crypto had also said that he was going to be giving exit entry points for any coin that you might be stuck in. So we're going to see if anyone had requested any of that as well. And, just overall get a good feel of the market. Are we going up? Are we going down? What's really going on with the markets, right? We all want to know. Summer tends to be infamously a time period where the markets go kind of sideways. So anyway, let's let BC break it down for us and see where we stand with the markets.
Hey, Pi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
So we have the same chart that we've been talking about, week after week. And last week we left these yellow lines that basically represented a harmonic pattern. And as you know, I told you guys I was rooting for the bulls, but unfortunately, the bulls just didn't have it, and we came back down. So we were hoping that we would come back up, and we didn't. And a lot of people are asking, is this it? Are we coming back down? And look, guys, like I've told you before, I still believe we're going to reset, and I'm still bearish for the midterm. But for short term, I still think the bulls have enough gas, even though it's not looking that great, enough gas to maybe finish in through May and maybe try this area one more time. So right now, guys, we basically retraced from this move that we had from the from March 13th to March 28th, those 2 weeks there, we retraced down to 786, 0.786, and you can see where we found support there. Now, there's a couple of things that I like. One, we found support on a fib. Two, we consolidated on there, and right there, I like seeing this. We can see a double bottom market structure on the MACD. We're looking at higher lows on the volume oscillator. So we're coming out of the negative. We have a potential bull cross with the cross indicator on the MACD. There's a lot of things going for the bulls, but the most important one that we need is not there. There's volume. The volume is diminishing, and that's not good. If you want to see a push, you want to see a continuation, we got to push. One of the things that I don't like either, and I've talked about this many times before, is the sell pressure when you're underneath the 9 EMA. And we continue to find rejection and not allowing the price action to gain the 9 EMA as support. And that's a very, very important EMA to watch when you're trying to look for a continuation or a reset and a move back up. You want to make sure that we're finding support on the 9. While we're underneath the 9, it's never a good sign. So I'm hoping that this double bottom structure does play out and gets us back above the 9. But when that happens, here's something that we have to keep in mind. The fact that we've consolidated here has allowed all of these EMAs, the 30, 100, and 50, to converge together. And that becomes a problem because one EMA by itself causes a lot of resistance. Now we have 3 EMAs together converging, and here's the other unfortunate part. This right here, guys, let me do this. Let me get rid of this real quick. This right here is prior support. Let me change the color here. Prior support. And why is this a bad sign? Because remember, guys, prior support is going to be future resistance on the way back up. And these EMAs that I just talked about, they're all converging at the same time. So you've got this confluence here of just a lot of resistance that the price action is going to be facing on the way if we do get a continuation. And if the volume does come in, it's going to have a hard time crossing this right here. So there's not much information this week, unfortunately, Pi, like they've been in previous weeks, because we're kind of just in limbo right now. We're trying to see if we can get past the 9 and what's going to happen with these EMAs, and what's going to happen with this really strong area of prior support and prior resistance. If you look, guys, as a matter of fact, you know what? Look at this. Look how cool this is. I didn't even notice until right now. That line that I just drew, follow it to the left. Look at this. Support. Look at this resistance. Resistance. See, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Perfect. Right on these candles. Guys, I'm telling you, you're going to hear me say this every week. God, I love my job. It's just, it's so cool to snap a line and then look to the left and see how relevant that line becomes. And you know what that does, guys? That strengthens that line. So every time it confirms, and what I mean by that is every time it becomes resistance or it becomes support, it strengthens and confirms the resolve of that line. So just something to keep in mind on the way up. We're going to have a difficult time just by that line itself, not to mention all the EMAs that are right above it. So let's see what happens this week. But I'm hoping the bulls bring it and can get us there before we come into the summer months, because the summer months in crypto are never good. Never good. So let's see what happens, Pi.
Yes, that's really is true. But it's still spring. It's not quite summer. So
yes.
Maybe there is some hope there.
Yeah.
Do you want to look at a couple of the alts, or do you want to look at Ethereum before moving on?
Sure, let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum here, not, let me look at the 12-hour time frame. Not too different than Bitcoin. You can see, you know what, let me choose a different chart, guys. This is my personal chart, and all those numbers mean something to me. So let's something with a little bit, here's a little bit easier, a little bit less lines. Very similar market structure. As we all know, Ethereum follows Bitcoin, so we're always going to see that relative price action. We're all hoping, me included, that Ethereum decouples from Bitcoin one of these days and takes off. I am I won't say I'm a Ethereum maxi, but I am an definitely Ethereum lover, because I feel like Ethereum has a lot of potential. Yes. It's the coin that most cryptos projects are built on, is on the Ethereum network. It's still number one. It still has a very smart, big team working full time to improve the network. So for that and many other reasons, I do see Ethereum in the next 2 to 3 years just become a power force that may pass the market cap of Bitcoin. Put it this way, if there was one token that has a chance to pass the market cap of Bitcoin, the only one that I can think of that can even come close would be Ethereum. And that's just my opinion. But that being said, guys, don't think that because I like it so much that I believe that that's the only thing you should have. I'm not one of those maxis. I'm definitely not. I think you should own whatever you think is going to make you money. I just personally think there's a lot of potential in Ethereum. And even though there's a lot of potential in other projects as well, ask yourselves, when you come up against Ethereum to another project, what are you going to trust the most? What has been around longer? What has the highest market cap? Who has the smartest team? Who has a proven network? It might not be, it might not be the greatest network with the high fees. I'll give you that, but they're working to perfect it. So when I look at my money, the first thing I look at is risk. How much at risk is it? Once I eliminate that, then I start looking at other factors. To me, risk very low on Ethereum, about the lowest you're going to have, right up there with Bitcoin, and the potential to the upside is really good.
Yeah, especially with ETH 2.0. I mean, you know, even if it's at the end of this year or even if it gets pushed out, whenever that beast releases, that will be a shift changer for sure for ETH.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
I would have to agree with you. I'm using ETH for hedging a little bit against inflation myself. And it's not quite up there with Bitcoin, so it's a lot more affordable for many people as opposed to Bitcoin. Not saying that you should not own any Bitcoin. You definitely should, a little at a time, buy in some. Okay, so we had a few requests here. We're gonna take just a couple.
Sure.
So I had two people ask about GLMR. I am not, it might be. Let me pull it up here. Oh.
Okay, it's right here on, open interest, Binance. Let me see here. Let's see what we can come up with this here down. Okay.
This is Gala. Is that it? No.
Yeah. No, it's not it.
No, it might not be on even.
GM.
It's Moonbeam. Yeah, Moonbeam.
GMLR, you said, correct?
GLMR. There it is.
Moonbeam right here.
Yep.
FTX. Okay. Moonbeam. Okay. Unfortunately, something like this is going to be very, very difficult to really TA, only because there's not a lot of data. But let's take a look at this. Yeah, at least we have a bottom and a top. So let's see what it did. Let's see how well it played. Look at this, guys. Swing low, swing high, right there on 0.78. I mean, not halfway, not the halfway below, not halfway on top. Literally exactly on 786 on a fib level. How cool is that?
That's
Falls,
so cool.
recovers, and then is, finding resistance here. The question is, can this recover, continue, or there's a lot of possibilities. We either go up and maybe double top at about the 236 level, come back down and complete that structure, or we continue, we have a continuation. But you have to ask yourself, how's the market looking overall? How much does Bitcoin you think how much gas does Bitcoin have left in it? There's a lot of factors that's going to determine whether this coin is going to take off or not. If I was a betting guy, probably not. I'm going to say the chances of this going to a new all-time high right now, probably not so good. After the summer, when we start going back up with Bitcoin, I would say you would have a much better chance. So what do you do with a coin like this? Personally, I would put a bid on 886, which is one of my favorite entry levels into a coin. It's very difficult to go wrong when you buy it at 88% discount and accumulate during the summer while things are down for the next fall or winter run. And if you believe in the project, you've done your research and you think it has a lot of potential, then buying it at 88% discount is never a bad thing.
Okay. And it's in the top, almost in the top 100. So, and I hadn't even heard of it.
Yeah, me either.
But so the other one they want to look at is Trust Swap.
What's the ticker?
SWAP.
Oh, SWAP.
Yeah, there it is.
Here we go. All right, we'll look at a Poloniex then. Here we go. Let's see here. Wow, no volume. I don't like the fact that there's no volume right off the bat. So we had some, little volume back here in 2020, Q3, Q4, 2020. We had a little bit of volume, but look at this, guys. There's like nothing. There's like no volume. I don't like the fact that this had a run up again. Look, no volume on this thing, just really, really poor volume on that weekly. I don't particularly like seeing things that run up with no volume. What that tells me, guys, and this usually, I haven't looked at the specs on this. Usually, a coin with very low liquidity is able to move like this with very little volume. So that's something that you want to be careful with when you're trading a coin like that, because it doesn't take much to move it up and to become a bag holder as people exit you when you're buying on much higher. This coin did really well in 2021, had a nice ROI, had a nice move. Let me take a look at here just by looking at this and the top here. I mean, it did a 2,800%, guys, 2,800%. Really nice. You can see here where she kind of did a double top, try to stay on top. Once she came back down to that, I like calling it like almost a valley of death. She's just been sitting here, not doing much. TA wise, guys, there's nothing that I can look at here and on TA and say, yeah, this is gonna go for this specific reason. Usually coins like this on an exchange like Poloniex is going to be something that the team is going to have to expand. It's going to have to do something that's going to wow the investors, because unfortunately, I don't want to talk bad about any exchange. My first exchange that I started on was on Poloniex. But however, if you are a veteran in crypto, you know that Poloniex has kind of lost its luster of what it used to be. And what happens is that when it starts to diminish in volume, their how do I put this nicely? Their guidelines to get listed are not as strict as, say, something like Binance. So they're not going to really vet a project as much. Usually it's going to be lower liquidity tokens. For you guys who've been around in 2017, 2018, I'm sure you guys remember Cryptopia. Kind of the same thing. Poloniex, unfortunately, is becoming kind of like a Cryptopia. So where it's like those coins, some of those coins popped and did 3,000-4,000%, but they were high risk.
Yeah.
And a coin that's listed on only an exchange like on an exchange that's a centralized exchange like only Poloniex and on some dexes, you want to just use some caution. Remember, guys, there's 11,000 projects out there. You have a lot of selection. So unless you know this project, you've researched it, and this wasn't just shilled by some, you've actually done your research, be careful that you don't if you're gonna buy, this is the time to buy. But if you bought here and now you're trying to get your money back here and you're only listed on the only centralized exchange is Poloniex, you may have a hard time recovering that money. Is basically what I want to point out. So just be careful. Unfortunately, there's not really much here other than the fact that we saw it go, had a nice run, came back. It's just sitting on the valley of death. Usually a coin like this will not have another run until the project does something, a use case, a test net, a main net, something to spark the interest back into the project.
Sounds good. This was really an awesome project when it had listed. I remember being a part of this, and I still hold some, but they did have a nice run, but not a whole lot of buzz about it, I guess, for lack of a better word. There isn't any, like, you get some projects that are like constantly shilling, right? Like anytime you tweet, there's all those group of people that come and like, oh, buy this, you should look at this one. Like Hex, for example. Anytime I think I ask about any recommendation on a project to buy, I have like 10 people that will come on my Twitter and they're like, you should buy Hex. And that kind of keeps like new people's interest, like, well, what is this thing? Like, me at least go check it out, right? And like with this project, I just don't see anybody like there's not anybody talking about it, or not as much, at least that I have noticed. So they could probably do some changing there on their marketing. That would probably be helpful.
Yes, yes, yes. That's usually what it is. Once it's been introduced and people got a taste of it, they understand the project. Now it just becomes a team. How well is a team? How well is a team, first of all, and what are their plans? What are they going to do to step it up to the next level? Hopefully, it's going to be something to attract investors back.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you do have to take the big L. That is how it is sometimes in trading.
Yeah, unfortunately, exactly.
And you just have to pick yourself up and try to get into a different project with that money and see if you can't recover. Now, you wanted to tell us about a DeFi project. Maybe that'd be a good segue into.
Yeah, you know what? That would be great. So, many of you guys know that I've been posting about Charge. It's a DeFi project. Now, DeFi project, guys, there's many types of DeFi projects, but I happen to like a specific type of project within DeFi that is basically yield farming. It's an algorithmic stable coin, but within that project, it gives you the ability, if you don't want to deal with the stresses of trading, of looking at charts, understanding how the charts work, you just want to take your money, you just want to deposit it, create an LP and get some yield out of it. This is a really good project. Now, there are some things that you need to keep in mind. So in the beginning, usually the first 2-3 months, you don't have to worry about it so much because things are high, things are stable. But as the project starts to develop, starts to mature, sometimes we start going down and we start losing peg, is what it's called, where the stable coin no longer is $1, it's less than $1. So that creates an event that will affect your LP. So in those instances, you want to be careful. You want to make sure you're vigilant during that time, or you can just simply remove your LP, come back when things recover, when things are looking better, and then continue to farm. So, and there are also different areas within the project. You don't have to be what we call a boardroom. You can use the governance token like Charge, wrap that, and never have to worry about it because it doesn't get affected by rebase. So, but it's a good place, guys. If you guys are looking for passive income, it's a great place. So I just did a Twitter. I just posted a YouTube video on Twitter that I did earlier this morning, and this is basically it. It's called Charge, guys, and there's 2 tokens to this. Right now, we just started. It literally is what, three hours old? Pi? It's started at 8 o'clock. It's now 11. 3 hours. 8 o'clock for me. It's 11:09 here in Arizona. And what it is, guys, you have, this is your peg coin, your stable coin, static, and you pair it with a USDC with another stable coin, or you have your governance token, which is Charge. You wrap that with USDC. You stick it in the farm. You get incredible APRs. So currently, the APRs are paying 10.30% on the Charge side, 8.79% on the static side. And you have to understand, first of all, how DeFi works, how DEX wallets work, because you're in control of your money a lot more than you are in a centralized exchange. In a centralized exchange, you deposit your money, they handle your crypto. You no longer own your crypto. The exchanges own your crypto. You just have access to your money, kind of like in the bank. Yeah. So think about when you go to a bank, you deposit money, they have your money. Same thing with a centralized exchange. With DEX, you have your money in your pocket. It's yours. It's yours. So if you're going to buy something, you take it out of your pocket and you pay for it. In a centralized exchange, they do the buying and selling for you. You never touch your money. You just tell them, I want to buy this and I want to buy that, and they do it for you. So you need to know how to navigate through a DeFi space, and you need to know how to do something as simple as create a liquidity token provider. And again, guys, many of you know I have a Discord group, and this is what I've taught my group how to do. I have a lot of videos explaining all that. So if you feel like you don't want to pay someone to teach you, no problem. Just go to YouTube, type in what is DeFi, what is a DEX wallet, and type in how to create a liquidity token. Do all the research on your own, figure it out. And then if you figure it out and it's something that attracts you guys, the kind of money that we make, guys, it's incredible. Just to give you an idea, I just did a video and I showed you all my wallets on my video. Right now, I'm making 40,000 bucks a day is what I'm making. So that's not chump change, guys. That's some good money. A lot of people are changing their lives with the kind of money that we're making. And this is just day one. It only gets better. After the farming here, we go into another area of the project called the boardroom. Believe it or not, guys, pays 3 times what we make here, 3 times more. And it's just amazing, amazing. So if you guys want to be part of a project like that, and you guys understand DeFi, take a look at it, guys. And this is just one of many projects that are out there, and many more to come from this team. So if you feel like you're late, you're not. You're early in crypto. This is project number 2. They have 4 more scheduled to go out. So if you're serious about making money and you want to learn about DeFi, you can do it on your own. You can join my Discord, bleedingcrypto.com. We can teach you. You can go through. I'm not going to actually teach you anymore because I already taught hundreds of people. I don't have the time for that anymore, but I documented everything in videos. So I will give you access to those videos, and then you will learn, and you'll have me to DM at any time and say, hey, DC, I didn't understand this portion of the video. Can you help me explain it? And I'd be more than happy. I'm just not going to sit there, line per line like I did in the beginning with my Discord, teaching them how to get into DeFi and how to navigate into that space. But you're more than welcome to join, or like I mentioned, you can do some searches on Google or YouTube, and you can find all the information yourself. But the point is, guys, there's a lot of potential in DeFi. I never thought that I would leave trading to come be a yield farmer. I never in a million years. I've only been in DeFi, guys, a little over a year. And I thought that I was going to die trading. And when you understand the potential of what's out there, guys, what's in this space, and just to kind of sum it up, to give you an idea, like people say, well, what is DeFi? Think of DeFi, guys, as the industrial revolution of the 1920s in America. The steel companies, the automotive companies barely starting out, supplying the infrastructure for the rest of the country. That's DeFi. DeFi right now is providing the infrastructure for the new financial system that one day will happen. I'm not saying it's going to take over the world. I'm not saying that at all, but it's going to be part of the financial system in the world. There's going to be people that act no different than credit cards. Credit cards didn't replace gold. Credit cards didn't replace cash. Credit cards didn't replace loans. They work hand in hand inside the financial system. They provide a service. Same thing with DeFi. DeFi provides a service for people like myself, investors. Later on, with the help of people like myself and you who want to get involved, the investors, we're building the infrastructure so that the common person who gets denied in a bank, traditional bank, can come to DeFi and say, hey, you know what? I got denied on this traditional bank, but this is what I got. I would like to take out a loan. And that's what DeFi is, guys. DeFi is going to be a decentralized finance, not based on the rules that we have in centralized banking system. So right now, as liquidity providers, people like us, we provide our money, we lend it to them so that they can build, and then in turn, we get paid nice APRs. No different than the banks do, guys. When you deposit your money in the bank, they automatically turn around and they're investing it, making these kinds of APRs, and they give you 0.01% after a year. And they're making 10, 15, 20% per day on your money. We turn the tables. We are now the bank. We are our own bank. We're taking control of that. And is it complicated? Yeah, it is. It is, guys. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, no, it's super easy. It's not. There's a learning curve like anything else. None of you guys who came into trading can say, I came in, yeah, that was easy. I learned how to chart right away. I'm making a killing. No one can say that. No different than this, guys. It took me I want to say it took me about 4 to 6 months to be comfortable, Pi. To be comfortable where I felt like okay, I got a handle on this. The first 4 to 6 months, it was tough. It was tough because there's so much information, and once you learn it, all the projects is the same exercise, just a different name. So let me give an example. Here we have static BUSD as a liquidity token. This is charged BUSD. It's the same thing. They're both liquidity tokens. They're just two different assets. You go to Cake, you look at the Sarah pools. You got BNB with USDC or USDT with USDC as liquidity pool. All of those mean is that you're basically providing liquidity for that project to utilize somewhere else. That's all you're doing, and you're going to make a lot of money if you take the time to learn it, guys. Just like with crypto, if you guys take the time to learn how to trade, you're going to make money. If you take the time to learn how to be a doctor, you're going to make a lot of money. It's all what you put in it and how willingly you are, how much determination you have to change your life. Because everybody, it's easy to say, yeah, I want to be rich. But many people don't have the determination, the focus to want to actually do it. And the resources are out there. The potential is out there. You just have to get up and actually do it.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And there is a learning curve for sure. You might get wrecked. So you want to always play it safe and, don't go putting your house mortgage payments in there, and, just be wise. Because initially you may make some money, but if you don't pay attention, like me, I've been there plenty of time last year where
So have I.
Yeah, I thought I could just put this money in and I can just walk away and come back and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. It can happen. You have to be real careful. Don't allow, guys, you remember, I've been in here for almost a year and a half. I know these projects, I'm well versed in these projects. So when you look at something like this, don't be fooled by the amounts. Like this, for instance, I have on this particular farm, I have $182,000. It's $182,722. In the past 3 hours, I've made $2,700. That's been my yield. When I started, this was $1,000. Yeah. This amount was $1,000 because I didn't know, I wasn't 100% confident what I was doing. As you get more knowledge, as you become more knowledgeable, as you understand the projects, the team, the people behind you, do your research, this amount will increase for you, will continue to increase. As you make more money and as your confidence grows, it's going to reflect in the money you own, the money you earn. It's not going to happen right away. Yeah. But at least you can see the potential, guys. There's a lot of Pi's in my group, and she knows. Yes. I'm very transparent with what I have, because one of the things that used to really irk me when I first started in crypto, and it happens to this day, you go to these Twitter followers, you go to these Twitter accounts, and they're telling you how great they did. All they do is post these percentages on how well they're doing, but they never show you their wallets, they never show you their amounts, they never show you any of that. They just tell you they're making a freaking killing. Well, what's a killing? Oh, it's just a lot. Well, what's a lot? Oh, it's great. But they always avoid that. They never want to be honest about it. And I'm 100% transparent. Do I win 100% of the time? No, I don't. And when I lose, I share that as well. Hey guys, I took a beating. I just lost 20 grand. It is what it is. But when I tell you I make money, I want you to see the kind of money I make to motivate you, so that you can know. When I got into crypto, January 2017, guys, I went in, my wife allowed me $1,000. When my cousin Mr. Mo told me about crypto 6 months before, in 2016, when I joined in 2017, my wife said, give it a shot, only $1,000. Everything that I built in crypto was with $1,000. Was it easy? Absolutely not. I'm 6 years in this business. So don't think you're going to come in and just make $1 million just like that. It's not going to happen. Can you make it? Yes, definitely can make it. But you're going to go through a lot of heartache and hardship before you make that million. And if you stick with it, it's worth it. It is worth it.
100%. And dedication, you got to have that, and accountability. And I mean, I didn't realize how much is required when you're doing these projects like with DeFi. I didn't realize until when I met up with BC, and he's telling me, he gets up in the middle of the night to check prices to make sure that, his money is safe. And that's the kind of dedication you got to have. And the group is so good for that, because you can have an accountability person where if they happen to be in a different part of the world, then they're up. They can call you if something goes wrong. If something's going sour, they are like hitting you up like, hey, you need to wake up. The group is so good for that, because you're not the only one keeping tabs on your money, because they're also invested in the same project as you are. They're staying active and mindful, and they're gonna let you know if something's going, sour. I do think it's really important to have that. Trying to do this alone in the beginning, it's just difficult. It's not impossible. It's difficult.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I hope, guys, that you at least take the time. Just go to chargedefi.fi, click on the documents. That should be the very first place you go. Do not buy anything. Don't buy nothing. Just go to the website, click on documents. In your spare time, read through it. If it interests you, then you can start, but not until you read the documents and understand the project. And it should be like that, guys, even when you're trading. Don't just put your money on some shit coin you don't know what it does. Just because some guy on Twitter told you about it, that is not the reason to invest in a coin. Make sure you understand and you feel like it has potential. Not everybody drives a white car. Why? Because we all see things differently. We all have different tastes. What that person may think is great, you may read and say, no, this is a terrible idea. Then you don't invest. Then that's it. No problem. No big deal. But at least you were responsible with your own money, and you took the time to research and see if it was something that's a good fit for you and your family.
Yes, 100%. I mean, I don't know what else I can say. It's always important to do your research. We've all FOMO'd. We've all bought things just because somebody told us, and sometimes it pays off. 90% of the time, it doesn't pay off. So it's always, at least take some responsibility, and you don't have anyone else to blame. Like, be like, okay, I got myself in this situation. Don't be that guy that's just looking to point fingers at somebody, because honestly, you're just going to look like a fool, and it's going to do you no good anyway. No one's going to be handing over their money because you lost money because of them. So,
yep, absolutely. Exactly.
But thank you so much, BC, for breaking this down. Charge is definitely one of the projects that I'm super bullish on right now as well. The fact that they just were on Binance, now we're on Phantom, and there is other announcements of multiple other chains coming later on.
And one other thing that I forgot to mention, Pi, they started in DeFi, and because of all the regulation coming down the pipeline, they wanted to get in front of it. They are no longer just a DeFi project. They're actually they formed a company, a legal regulated company. So they're not just a DeFi, they're an actual regulated KYC a company. So they're a legit company. So that's something that's super important to realize. And they actually have a use case. They have a program called Money Legos. When you read the documentation, you'll know about it. Think of Beefy on steroids. That's programmable. It helps you program your investments and how to take profit, and it does that everything automatically. You tune it all in, and it's got a peer-to-peer wallet coming out. So it's got actual use cases behind these tokens, and that's something that 99% of crypto projects do not have. They give you a promise of utility, but not actual utility. This project now has legally an actual use case.
Thank you for that reminder. So that's so true. It's so important. Otherwise, there's plenty of people that make claims of things. Oh, we'll promise you the world, but before you know it, you've left with nothing. So I think we're both really bullish on Charge. We appreciate you, BC, for breaking it all down. That's been so helpful. And here comes my hi, baby.
I love it. This way people get to see we're real humans. We're actually people who have lives, who have our families, who have kids, but we take the time. We take the time out of our busy schedule to help you guys. I hope you guys appreciate it.
Yeah.
And more than that, if you want to show your appreciation, guys, follow Pi. Make sure you follow her on YouTube and on Twitter. Leave your comments on YouTube so that the algorithms that work in YouTube can show this, can put her in front of more of a larger audience, guys, and we can help everyone in the community know about not only charge, but understand about Bitcoin, understand about cycles, the education that we bring every week. They can become aware of it. Remember, guys, we all have to start somewhere. So the more people we get to help, the bigger this community gets, the stronger this community gets, and it only benefits everyone else.
Agree. Thank you, BC, for that. I appreciate it.
Bye. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye. Bye. Thank you, BC, so much for being here again, breaking down the market analysis for us, and then sharing about Charge DeFi. Like he said, guys, be sure to go on there, check it out for yourself. I think DeFi is a great space to make some passive income, but you do have to be mindful. There are projects where you can just set it and forget it, like the boardroom, but you want to still be mindful, check in on it, and go ahead and claim your rewards. Why wouldn't you want to? Why wouldn't you want to collect your money, right? So I do think that it has great future, DeFi in general, and Charge is also going to have a big part in DeFi in the future. I'm sure of it, being that they're not just some scammy company, but they're formed a legitimate company and they're working on use cases. So this is so awesome. I'm really happy that I have decided to join the group and have been taking part in Charge, and I'm so happy to just be here in general in crypto. I've been here since 2017, and I appreciate you guys watching my content. I appreciate you just being here. So please be sure to leave in the comments altcoins for next week, so we can cover them and break them down for you guys. If you have any projects you're stuck in, like BC said, if you're looking for some exit points, then go ahead and leave us your entry and what coin it is that you want us to look at, want him to look at, and he'll go ahead and give you those exit points as well. So that is all for me. If you haven't yet done it, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a like and comment for that YouTube algorithm. I appreciate you guys so much. Till next time, I will be back with another episode of Piece of the Pie, helping you get your piece of the pie in this crypto space. Till next time.